Hello, we are now with Jos Delbeke, Director General for Climate Action of the European Commission. Hello, Jos. It's a pleasure to have you here. So I would like you to give us your opinions on a number of questions. First, I would like you to comment on the current reform of European climate policy, particularly the EU-ETS. What are your expectations and how things will work out of this process?
Well, now we have our proposal being discussed already for over a year in Council and Parliament, so now it's time to sum up. And I think that's the general feeling I have from the debates in Council and Parliament. So I hope that the Slovak presidency is going to make a very important number of decisions on the ETS in December. I also hear that European Parliament, not only in the ITRE but now also in the Environment Committee and the ENVI Committee, is summing up things in the report. So then the real discussion is going to start. And what I see as a very positive evolution is that the discussions follow the basic structure that is in the proposal by the Commission. Of course, we had heated debates on carbon leakage, which was to be foreseen, which is understandable, but I see very good solutions appearing around the table. So I think we are going to get there.
A few days ago, the winter package was communicated, and I would like to know your views on the impact of the winter package on European climate policy.
That is a very important package because it is about the measures, the policies and the measures that we need to realize our emission reductions. So it is a package. There are at least 4 important points. The electricity market design and the governance. Very important to frame further action in the field of energy efficiency and renewables. We want to appeal more on market forces in the power sector, and I think that's a good thing. We also have a market-based instrument, which is the ETS. So the two go very much hand in hand. And I'm very pleased that we could sum up and that the legislator now can do the rest of the world. The rest of the work is going to take a little bit of time. So that's not going to be a quick fix because there are so many interests out there. But it's very encouraging to see that we are going forward in Europe in realizing energy efficiency up to at least 30%. Having also renewable energy for up to at least 27% in the energy mix by 2030. These are 2 very important evolutions.
Finally, we are in very interesting moments at the world level on climate policy developments, climate strategies, etc. With a lot of things happening around in the political sphere, also in the business sphere. Yeah. So I would like you to comment a bit on the challenges that we as Europeans face in this new context that seems to be appearing around the globe after Paris and with some political developments in the world.
Well, the last 12 months have been spectacularly positive when it comes to multilateral decisions. We had the Paris Agreement, we negotiated it, we ratified it, and now it has entered into force in less than 12 months. We had important decisions on aviation. In the ICAO context, we had the Montreal Protocol, the inclusion of HFCs. So these are very important elements because it brings the emerging economies and it brings the United States on board. But of course, over the last couple of weeks and months, the developments have been less positive. We are still waiting for the final word by President-elect Trump. We don't know exactly where he is going, but I think, and we will have also our own little problems here or there in Europe, but we can see that the train has left the station. When it comes to the implementation and the use of clean energy, renewable energy, energy efficient appliances, the general awareness that we have to use less energy and in particular less fossil fuels, I think has been sinking in widely and across the world. And that is basically a source of optimism. We know that the policy path is not going to be a straight line. It's always a little bit zigzagging around that line. That has been the case in the past. That is going to be the case in the future. But when we look back at what we did in Europe, we have now more than 10 years active climate policy. We have been able to reduce our emissions since 1990 with 22%, and we have been increasing our GDP with 50%. So this gradual and systematic decoupling of economic growth from emissions, I think, is a really important realization of which we have a good story to tell to the rest of the world. And that's what we are doing. Countries like China, countries like Brazil, like South Africa, many countries in the world, they come to us and they ask for more advice, and we can share our experiences. We do that bilaterally. We also do that through our activities with the World Bank, for example, who is a very important player in the way investments are being set out and decided upon. So I think there are worries indeed. You know, things may be a little bit more difficult in the weeks, months and years to come. But at the same time, policy making has never been easy. And what we see in Europe when we look back over the last 10 years, despite all this, you know, the events that sometimes were positive, sometimes were negative, we reduced our emissions and we increased our economic growth. And I think that's a very fundamental thing that we should not forget out of sight.
So thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Xavier. You know.